You're listening to
They're gonna call it a hard foul. They're gonna call it a hard foul.
offering in-depth analysis on all things Boston Celtics with your hosts, Jim and Mike Quigley.
All right, Jim. So we're in trade deadline season right now. It doesn't have to include the Celtics. What's an NBA trade you want to see happen?
The one I talked about. Yeah, Lauri Markkanen to the Thunder. I think, to me, that would make that team, a championship contender, like you said, and it would really speed up their development. And I don't think it limits them in the future for going out and getting somebody else. So the problem with OKC, and it's been their problem for over, course of a couple decades now, is they don't want to spend. And so that's a question that needs, they have Sam Presti's a great GM, but, he was forced to ship out Harden. And then eventually that led to, Durant walking away. And so in a case like this, if they don't spend, does SGA eventually say, screw this? So whether they do it, if they continue to just move in this direction and get good and not bring in another piece, I think you'd probably have to look right at ownership over there.
Yeah, I would like to see Terry Rozier get moved to a contender.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
He's balling out. We've seen him, at least in home games, during that stretch when the Celtics made their run when they were really young. He's a big game guy. I'd love to see him get on a good team. Maybe he's a fit for the Knicks. Maybe the Bucks could move Middleton for him.
He's going to have to move.
He's going to be tough to move. Yeah, a lot of these contracts.
Big money. Yeah.
Yeah, like Gordon Hayward's making 30. Gordon Hayward would be good for a contender right now with the way he's been playing, but he's making $30 million.
But he's gone after this year. So, if you can cobble together those contracts, you swallow that a little bit. Whereas Terry Rozier, you have him for the next. You have to put him on the book.
Well, he's part of your plans.
2 years after this. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if Gordon Hayward would be a good fit for a team like the Knicks, where they have Evan Fournier's contract and somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't think he does anything for them, but yeah, he makes them better,
He makes them a little better. Yeah. With trade deadline season, Jim, what's the worst Celtics trade of your lifetime?
Worst Celtics trade of my lifetime. Oh, I don't. I guess I'd have to go back to when they traded Chauncey Billups for Kenny Anderson, and Kenny Anderson was actually really good here, and I loved him as a player. But even that isn't like a terrible trade when you think about it. What do you have? I got to think about this a little bit more. They haven't had a ton of terrible trades.
They haven't. I was thinking about it when I was coming on, and I was thinking trading away Joe Johnson when he was so young.
That's it. Yeah. Well, that's it for Rodney Rogers and Tony Delk, who again were contributors to a playoff team, but that was really bad.
And they signed Travis Knight, right? They didn't trade for him.
They signed, the Patino,
because that was just like awful that they gave that guy
transactions out there as a whole, outside of and say it was terrible. I think they traded something for Vin Baker, and that never made sense when they did that.
Drinking problems.
But it's tough to. You could go back and say the trades they didn't make with, not maybe trading McHale, not trading Parrish to once you saw Bird's back going and the tragedy with Len Bias and things like that you had to accelerate a rebuild.
Right.
So those could be the trades they didn't make that really hurt them. But, I mean, the Celtics, for decades, with the exception of the Patino years, they've kind of really bamboozled teams going back to Bill Russell, the Bird trade, and McHale and Parrish.
Garnett trade,
what got them Tatum and Brown, Garnett trade twice, I guess. And then recently other moves. So even Isaiah Thomas, when they brought him in, was it just they kind of bamboozled teams a lot. So there hasn't been a ton of bad trades.
Yeah, it's been a lot of good ones. So Jim, I know you